Hey, it's Olga here from Indie Film World. I'm sitting here with a Tropfest finalist, Stuart Bowen. Hey, Stuart.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
You must be super excited.
Yes, we are. We started making the film. We had the idea for the film like 2 years ago, never made it, and then basically it has the Tropfest signature item of the last 3 times. So there was like balloon, change,
No way.
mirror. Because it took so long to do it, and then when we finally shot it, it's like, okay, well, it has all of them in there.
Yeah.
Just covering our bases.
So give us a little brief synopsis of the story without giving too much away.
It's kind of an absurd love triangle between 2 guys and a girl. They go to their, our hero goes to his primary school reunion and sees the girl he always liked, and the bully wants her as well, so it turns into this kind of Western standoff. It's sort of, there's no dialogue, it's more kind of like Charlie Chaplin meets Napoleon Dynamite kind of vibe.
Oh, cool. And I noticed when it says genre, it's listed as other. How would you describe the genre?
Oh gosh, that might have been me just like mucking up the entry form.
Oh no.
Other, I don't really know. I don't know. It's probably just, I don't know, a sort of fantastic comedy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I should say comedy.
Yeah, perfect.
Some people may not find it funny though, so it's other.
Cool. And just give us a brief idea of how you went from initial script to final product, what that process was for you, who was involved, and how it got to where it is today.
Well, Nicholas Russell wrote the script, and it sort of was based on an idea that we both discussed. We were drinking gin and tonics. It was quite ridiculous.
The start of Everything Wonderful.
and the end of Everything Wonderful. And we were just sort of discussing this absurd idea, and we wanted to try something without dialogue. My first film, Woody, didn't have dialogue, and that was an animation, and we wanted to like look into live action and what the performance tone would be. And so, and then Nick we were discussing stuff, and then Nick went away and came up with the idea, and it was a lot of back and forth, and even just the context of what we could afford sort of meant the context, you know, at one point it was a circus tent and they're both clowns, and, you know, it was all these different things of how this Western standoff would play out. Then we sort of landed in a really good place, I think. So sort of from there, you know, Nick went and got a job overseas, and so we had to tools down for a while, and then the next one came along, and so we finally we were either going to just chuck the idea away and come up with another one, or just we loved it too much, so we made it. And then basically it was a 2-day shoot, sort of leading up to there, and then it's sort of been in post for, you know, until right up to the deadline.
Okay, and you spoke about budget and financial issues. Tell us a bit about how you got funding, if any at all. Was it just whatever you could scramble up between yourselves, or did you go crowdfunding, and how that all helped make the film?
Well, as a reaction to my first film, Woody, we got the Emerging Filmmakers Fund for that. We got 18,000 through crowdfunding, and then we got, I don't know how we got the rest from me and my producer, Jody. And then, so as a reaction to that, I really just wanted to make a contained, self-funded piece. So my day job is editing commercials, so I just saved up. And when we sort of got enough to shoot, we did it, and then it was tools down to allow money for post. And yeah, we got some really great, talented people who worked on Woody, who did the sound and the VFX. And so yeah, it got a really nice finish, but we did have to kind of stop, replenish the bank account somewhat, and then keep going. But yeah, so it was fully self-funded, which was fun.
So just speaking of Woody, you had some pretty great success with that. How was it different, and do you prefer live action films versus animation films?
I don't know which one I prefer yet. I think simplistically I like live action, but, you know, like the amount of detail we could go into on the animation, Twisted took 2 days to shoot. Woody took 7 weeks to shoot, and that's like a feature film, and that's with 2 units going at once. So we had a studio with 2 blacked off areas where the animators would just get about 7 to 10 or 5 to 10 seconds of footage a day.
Wow.
And because we didn't have the budget, we couldn't really even afford a second take. So the way that Woody would work is we'd go in the morning, we'd had a pre-videoed live action reference, which I'd shot. The guy wore a mask because Woody doesn't have facial expressions. So, and he doesn't have fingers either. So there was all these kind of barriers. So we'd video this guy, get the live action reference, and then I'd go in, we'd talk with the animator, he'd do the action back to me, I'd do it to him, and we kind of, so I would say, you know, I'm thinking this is the video, then he would do it back to me, and then I would critique it almost like he was the actor.
Yeah.
And then about 8 to 9 to 10 hours later, you'd go in and you'd see this little action, which might just be like,
yeah,
hand up to a window, and it's like, wow, how is this all going to kind of fit together? So in that, it was just like trying to keep an arc of what to do, and then, you know, we got to 1 week left before we ran out of money, and it's like, what can we do to finish the story off cleverly? And so yeah, so live action is a lot, you know, it was a 2-day shoot. It was, you know, really fun working with actors. We had a costume fitting, and we did a sort of a 2-hour rehearsal, just mucking around and improvising, and you just don't get that. Like, we got, you know, multiple takes on set, and as we were getting them with the actors, I was like, oh, it felt like such an honor.
Yeah.
Like, it was so great because you can go, oh, that wasn't as good, let's do this, and let's put back, and, you know, like, let's play around with it, which we just couldn't do with animation.
So Twisted is your first live action film, directing real life actors. Tell me a bit about that process, how you went about directing the actors.
Working with actors means multiple takes, so we would kind of explore for a bit, which is kind of fun. I don't pretend that I know really what I'm doing, and it's sort of after doing it made me realize I want to learn more. So, you know, I kind of went and bought some more directing theory books, because I was like, you know, we came across a few sort of, not like just trying to understand where each other's coming from, and I didn't quite have the vocabulary to kind of chat about it, and, you know, my actors were amazing, so they kind of really helped out, but it just made me think, wow, I really do want to learn more of a process. But working with actors made me realize I do actually want to develop more of a process, because it wasn't until I was on set and I saw these 3 actors, you know, like interacting and playing off each other and improvising, which is very much how the film was set up. I was like, wow, I'm really lucky that these guys are so great, because I just focus so much on the context of getting the film ready to shoot, and then we're on set and I'm like, oh, I'm working with actors, and this is kind of like the really important part of it. And so, you know, I was watching it going, phew, I'm like really glad these guys know what they're doing, and they were very generous, and we had enough time to kind of play around and get multiple takes. So yeah. So
who were the actors?
The actors, we don't have character names, but we sort of do it like the good, the bad, and the ugly, but it's the good, the bad, and the pretty. So the good is Steen Raskopoulos, who is a sort of from a stand-up improv comedy kind of background, and Andrew Steele, more of a dramatic actor, and then Catherine Beck is the pretty, the good, the bad, the pretty. Yeah.
So coming from an acting background, I'm always interested in how the casting process works. Tell us a bit about how you cast the actors.
When we were making Woody, I was working in a sort of a share office space, and in there was a casting agent called Danny Long, and she was just working out of there, and we became friends, and obviously we didn't need to cast anyone for Woody, but when it came time to find cast for this, it was actually amazing, because I was trying to, at the start, I was thinking, right, who do I know? And I'm like, not really sure, just kind of rang Danny for a bit of advice, and then she's like, just jumped on board as the casting director, and just the idea of us having a discussion, her going away thinking, I mean, this is the casting process, how it works. I've just never been part of it as a director. So, you know, we had this briefing process, then she comes back with all these options that are amazing, and then, you know, we discuss the interactions, can we get this person, here's our dates. Then it becomes a bit, will they do it? Will they, and then can they do it? Because, you know, everyone's busy. And so then we sort of, landed where we did with the 3, which was really great.
So did she organise the auditions, or was that?
We didn't even audition. So, I checked out their work, knew that they were great. And then, I mean, there's no dialogue. It's very much a physical thing. So you watch them work physically, and so you just responded to it. And then just the idea of putting Steen and Andrew against each other was really great. And then Kat's such a beautiful spirit. She was just kind of this awesome sort of non-judgmental presence watching this, kind of freaked out about what's happening. She had no idea, she didn't ask for this, and she had that great kind of vibe, and she's quite bemused and lovely.
So I read online that you were creating fake trailers for the movie Australia before it came out, and that attracted Baz Luhrmann's attention.
Yes.
Whoa, tell me a bit about that.
I started from an editing background, so I did like a general music and communications degree and focused on editing during the degree, and sort of was always mainly interested in directing, but I could edit, so that was kind of what I did. And I was editing wedding videos on the Central Coast and absolutely hating it. And I lasted about a week, and I read that Baz Luhrmann was making Australia and they hadn't shot it yet. So I just kind of spent all my time finessing, learning how to edit, and I hired all these Nicole Kidman, Hugh Jackman films, Pearl Harbor, Man from Snow River, and sort of mashed it all together to match the IMDb paragraph that was on. That's all there really was, about the film. And then I put it online and sort of sent it through to Baz, and then sort of he liked it, and then I think what happened was he was meant to have the trailer released at some stage, and it wasn't ready, and then Sunrise, the TV program, played mine, and then it got 1 million views, and then I ended up getting work on the post-production of Australia and editing other mood reels, and then from that I've been editing lots of mood reels. So lots of directors will have a script that they want to get funding for, they want to get cast for, so I'll make this fake trailer before they've made the film yet.
Wow.
And it's this way to get people enthused and excited, and often if it's a bit of a gamble or if they want a bit more money than's comfortable, which always seems to be the way, it's a way to allay fear of a studio or,
Wow, I took a look at it and it was amazing.
Oh, cool.
How long did it take you to do that?
That was my first one, and that took over. I've done tons now.
Because there were so many little cutaways, and how did you find going through all the movies and finding the perfect reaction shots?
Well, it was a lot of work because Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman at that stage hadn't been in a film together, I think, except for Happy Feet, where obviously they were just voice talent. So, flopping some shots so you get the eye lines right to look like they're interacting and stuff.
Yeah, that's so good.
And it's almost, there were a lot of comments underneath it, why would you try and fool people? It's I wasn't trying to fool people. I was trying to get a job, which kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, wait, this isn't the trailer, that's a shot from Moulin Rouge. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Wow, that's amazing. I heard that and I love the story, so
Oh, cool.
thanks for sharing.